The next thing is we want you to really bring your experience to the discussion. Every time we meet, we want you to get involved with the teaching. We don't want to continue to push information on you. We want to hear from you. And that's how we learn from each other, by bringing our different experiences to the table. This is a very big one. FIBA Americas have since sent out its preliminary notice that to advise that the table officiating certification course will start in September of this year. All the preliminary work starts on September the 28th, and the full course will run from then through the 28th of October. So you need to connect with your national federation because they probably would have received this information. If they haven't, and there is an interest, then you need to nudge them so they can nudge FIBA Americas to have you do the course. The course is this year, starting September, and what we're doing now really plays into it big time. So that's a good thing. And then, of course, all of you, again, you ought to be commended for attending all of the sessions. And there are a few of you who would, from time to time, weigh in on the conversation, but we want to hear from different folks, particularly from different states, from different national federations. So that's it. I'll turn it back over to Ms. Christine Cunningham, who would lead the platform and, of course, announce a learning session instructor for this evening. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Freddie Brown. Okay, we're going to get started this evening. We're going to have Ms. Jackie Morris. She's going to tell you a little more about herself, but she'll be talking about nominations, arrival at the venue, and dress code. After which we'll have Ms. Rochelle Camp, who's gonna do the dress code, meetings, pre-game duties, and duties during the game. So, Ms. Morris, you can go ahead and introduce yourself, and then feel free to get started.
Good evening, everyone. Well, as you know, my name, everybody call me Jackie, but my name is actually Jacqueline Morris. I'm from Trinidad and Tobago. I have been officiating for the past maybe 30 so odd years as a table official, as well as training the people in our country. So this is not really new to me. They're playing about imparting my knowledge, but doing a Zoom is very new. So please bear with me. I'll try my best to get all the information across the best way I can. And I hope at the end of the session, people are going to be a little more knowledgeable on the different aspects of this part of officiating. It's my pet peeve. Now, they've asked me to do the nomination, which is the pre-games and pre-game and when you arrive at the venue and stuff like that. If you are carded to officiate in a basketball game, the most important thing is to know the night of the game, the time of the game. It's important that you get there before, and the hustling is always a problem. I can speak from experience that an official, whether you be table or referee, if you are late, you don't ever settle into the game. So if you know you have a game carded for at least 7, we here normally ask you to get there by 6:30. You are supposed to be seated at the table by 10 to the game to get all the information across. So the table official, you must be on time, as I said. You will calculate from your home to the venue, you know how long it will take for you to get there. So you always time yourself so that you will get there before. You also have to know the people you're working with. You must know your strengths and your weaknesses. So you have to know who you're working with and be able to assist at any time that you are called on to do so. You have to make sure that the equipment you're working with is in the proper way, that as a table official, you are maybe a scorer. You have to make sure your book is there, ready to work with. You have proper pens to use. The scoreboard is well equipped. It's functioning. And you need to get to the game before to make sure that this is all well and done. It's important that you have proper tools to work with in order to carry out your job in an efficient manner. All right. Yeah, we always would.
Do you want me?
Hello?
Do you want me to share the screen, Jackie?
Thank you. Can do that too, so that they can read along.
Okay. Yeah.
All right, as we're getting that done, as I said, you need to familiarize yourself with your co-workers. That's what we call them. And you must know their contacts and stuff like that. And it's also important that if you know you are going to be late, let somebody have an idea that this is going to happen. And most times we call people to do games, you always have a backup. So in our local games here, we normally run with like 2 table officials or 5 as the case may be. You must have a scorer, you have an assistant scorer, you have your timekeeper, you have your shot clock operators, and we also have statisticians. At these levels, we might need all those, but most times in local games, you don't use all of those table officials. But whatever your numbers are, you must be aware of it so you can know how you are functioning. If you all will realize on your screen right now, we have the arrival at the venue. And the first point I tell you, it is essential that all table officials make their travel arrangements to arrive to the destination in good time. I spoke about that already. Punctuality is essential. Don't really chastise us on that as we open. And I am very sorry because I'm a person that really go for punctuality. All my officials have problems with me on that because I don't make joke with time. This is my first Zoom meeting and I was tardy in getting on. So I apologize for that. But I hope that the next time it would not be like
punctuality.
Okay? The second thing on your list is that in FIBA competitions, all officials are required to arrive at the arena at least 30 minutes before the game is scheduled to begin. I also mentioned that already too. You must be there at that
All
time.
officials are required.
Excuse me, somebody saying something?
Can we mute? Ms. Cunningham, can you mute them, please?
I'm trying to mute them now. But please, everybody, please mute your mics. When you come on, please mute your mics. Thank you.
Yes, okay. They also said here, you should plan the journey well in advance, anticipating things like traffic congestion, weather conditions, and so on. This is especially important if you have been in the arena before. And this is a problem we have a lot. If you know that your journey is going to take half an hour to get there, you know you have a 7 o'clock game, so you got to leave home by 6 to get there by 6:30. Why you want to leave home at 6:20 to get to your arena for 6:30, and you know you have half an hour? And then you'll be calling and say the traffic back up or the rain is falling and stuff like that. Those things are not acceptable. To be a good official, you have to follow everything from top to bottom. It is important to bring a list with the telephone numbers of your co-officials to notify them of any unexpected delay. That's what I just said. You must know who you're working with so that you have the communication lines open so that we would not have any delay. Somebody is there that you can always fall upon. I could give you all a lot of scenarios with our section here in Trinidad. Most times we get to a venue and it's come like if we run in the tournament. So we have to get everything in place. It's hard work, but you do this thing most times because you love it. They cannot compensate you for it. You do, I'm telling you from now, officiating who have never done it before, it's for the love of the game. So you gotta think about it. On arriving at the venue, you should let the organizers and commissioner, if present, know that you have arrived. You should then meet with the rest of the officiating team. That is the next important. You have to let everybody know, well, I am here, so that they would not be worried and saying, you're not there, this one is not there. Your table official, you have to compliment everybody. You cannot start a game most times with one person missing, you're putting a strain on somebody else. We're going down now to dress. Anybody have, all right, we're going down now to dress code. Personal appearance is very important. Table officials should take care of their image, maintaining a professional appearance in themselves and their work, thus obtaining respect from all. I know in fever situations, they have uniforms. I don't know what happened with other countries, but locally, the official, we call ourselves ABBA, and we always have a uniform. So at no point in time you can look at a table and find a look on uniform. We always have a uniformity. Whatever we go with, sometimes we dress as the referee, sometimes we have our own stuff. But everybody on the table has one particular something that they wear that can identify you as an official. One. And it don't be like outside clothes is a normal tee, maybe it's a tee or button up, whatever it is, a shirt, and you have a black slacks, most likely follow along the same line with the referee. But you are dressed in a way that people can look at you and respect you because of your appearance. You, as they say, you don't demand respect. Table official, you need that in order for you to do your job in the proper way. Remember that you, like the referees, are a representative on the court of your leagues, federations, and country. And that's what I'm just saying. You are representing, you are part of, so you have to dress the part. Your words, your attire, and your behavior will be observed attentively by all participants. The very first part of this is very important, your words. Some of us don't know how to speak to people when they come to us. You must be pleasant at all times. Remember, you are offering a service. Okay? We're watching at these outfits on the thing there, and they're telling you the different type, how to and how not to. Which look doesn't belong. And you can watch the 6 of them, and you can tell one time which one. You know for sure you would not be wearing streetwear to officiate. This is really casual. You don't want to have the black tie and the business suit, but you're going to look sharp. This third picture is what we normally do. A little button up and a slacks. Or you could wear a shirt and a slacks. For the ladies, we have to even search skirt. You wear one with a reasonable length, so that we don't want anything too skimpy and too tight. You are going to a game to officiate, you're going to do a service. So you gotta dress and look the part. What to wear? Who here is not ready? And you see in three different attires. This is too casual. We're not going to a party. This will quickly fall into casual, okay, no, that is too casual. Business casual is quicker, closer to it. Look at this one. We will be addressed by the way we dress. Look at them. When they come into an arena, and if you're doing international standards, this is what we're going to look like. You come into a arena, at one time people are going to be looking up to you because they figure they're just watching you, and they're going to think that you know what you are about. Dressed like this, you're going to command the respect from people. Questions?
Yep.
Any levels?
Any questions?
Hi,
Concerns?
Jackie,
Comments?
Yes.
Cunningham. Before your questions, I need to say something.
Shelley, you need to speak up. I can't hear you.
You can't hear me?
You're really low. Turn your
Hold on.
speaker up.
Can you hear me now?
A little
Yes, we're
better.
hearing you a little clearer.
All right.
Yes, Sharon.
Something back on you on the sex. How hi, Rochelle Kemp in the Bahamas. Something you was talking about nomination. I wanted to make sure people were clear on that one. Nomination simply means when your federation submit your name to become a table official for the FIBA game, the international game. And sometimes persons get confused with how that is done. Basically, when you like your there's an old adage your parents or grandparents would have been saying that when you do your work, do it to the best of your ability because people are always watching you. So when you in your local games, people are watching to see who's working well, who works well, who knows what they're doing. And so from your local games, when people see how you work, that's where your name gets submitted into your federation to say, hey, that person could work at that level. Let that person work. All right. So don't be confused to say, oh, you wonder how this one get there and how this one get to work on the table. It's basically based on how you work at your local levels. Are you keeping yourself updated in rules and regulations and stuff like that?
Okay. Thank you for that update because as I said, in Trinidad, we had never had anybody nominations to work at that level. I can't tell you the last time we had a tournament that was played here. So I'm glad for that update that you just passed on. Thanks for the information.
Any more comments, concerns, questions? Before we go on to our next session?
Is everybody clear on that part of this part of the meeting? Everybody clear on this part of the session? Because we know arrival and stuff like that is important. You got to dress the part and look the part in order to be there. As I say, you command your respect, we don't demand. You do not talk down to people, you speak across. Okay? Just as how you want people to respect you, you're going to respect others.
Can I just weigh in from an international perspective?
Yes, you can. We're listening.
Yeah. With respect to international competition, the time to get to the gym is 90 minutes. I mean, you have to be there 90 minutes prior to jump ball.
For international competition.
For international competition, not local competition. And so you got just remember that one because you guys are going to be doing the certification course, the FIBA certification course in September through to October. So these are the things you have to keep in mind, bear in mind. The next thing is prior to that 90 minutes, there are any number of things that happen for the table official, especially at level 1 competition. All right. At level 1 competition, there is that technical meeting. All right. Maybe your chief, your table chief would attend that technical meeting because in that technical meeting, you have what is known as a game rundown. All right. Where they go through by minute what's going to happen. The clock goes up, starts up maybe 40 minutes prior to the jump ball. At 33 minutes, team clear the court for reintroduction. All kinds of things happen. And at the end of the day, I probably would show you what that game rundown looked like for international competition.
I'm home. Call me back.
Yeah. So I would give you a PowerPoint on that game rundown protocol, maybe at the end of our sessions here.
Okay.
Another one is a game rehearsal. Big major competitions, and it's even now happening at the CBC level, because CBC now is gone to the next level in terms of play and professionalism to some degree. And so you got to have these game rehearsals, and the table officials are normally there to run the clock and to see how these rehearsals unfold, because they are an intricate part of the timing for everything. So you'll have a game rehearsal. Of course, I indicated the game rundown. And then at the end of it, you know, the new rule is now is the game finishes 15 minutes after the game clock.
The game clock has stopped.
Yeah, and so there's that protocol. And so those are just one or two items I just wanted to throw in there. Yes, as Morris indicated that we're there to give a service. All right, we like to say that we are service providers. All right, and to be a good service provider, we must take on a professional professional look. We must be professional in everything we do. All right, from speaking, from dressing, and she went through the whole 9 yards with regards to that. But it's all about being a professional. Now, some people need money to be professional. But once you receive a nomination and you say, I got this, all right, money should not drive that, even though it is a driving force, and we're certainly pushing towards that end, all right, to improving our salaries, or, well, not salaries, our pay at the end of the day. And so we should be very professional. As Jackie indicated again, that time, and I started off with that. I said, listen here, guys, what we do, everything is based on time. Everything that we do is based on time. The game is based on time. Starting and finishing the game is based on time. And so, I mean, we must propose from here on in that starting tomorrow, we will start on time. We will be on time. And that is the first step of being a professional. I mean, I wouldn't say that's the first step, but that is one of those areas.
One of the steps.
One of the steps of being a professional. And so, and you need to start with your local association. You need to start locally, all right? And not waiting to go to competition, international competition, to be your best. I often say, you don't go to high-level competition to get good. You're there because you are good. You see, this is not a training ground. The training ground, perhaps, is with your local associations and your local league, your recreational league. But when you reach the top-level competition, that's not a training ground, all right? And so we just want to implore that on you. We want to push that on you. I want to push it on you, all right? For us to be a little bit more professional in what we do, and making sure we start on time. Thank you very much, Ms. Morris. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
And one other thing I need to bring to your attention too, concerning dress code. In a national event, international event, you do not come to the gym dressed in your officiating uniform. You come dressed and change into your officiating uniform. And before you leave the arena, you have to take off your officiating uniform. So just bear that in mind.
Yeah.
But when you do come to the gym, like Ms. Morris said, you have to look professional. You can't come driving slippers and wearing jeans.
Yeah, no jeans.
So that's just something you need to bear in mind, that you get dressed at the arena. Okay? Any
Okay.
more
Great.
questions, concerns, comments before we move on to the next session?
We should have some comments somewhere. Somebody should be saying something. Come on, guys, say something. Say how you do business. How you intend to improve or something on that.
We have plenty people on
How
there.
many of you get to your game at least 30 minutes? I ain't asked for 90.
Yeah, at
30
least
No,
30.
no,
At
not
no
90.
problem.
No, don't say 90 because I wouldn't even
No,
make that.
I know they don't get 90. That's why I asked them for 30. How many of you are
That's
to your game at least 30 minutes?
30.
that's the reason why I put it at 30, because
Yeah,
it's
we do the 30 thing. We do the 30 thing too, Jackie.
yeah, it's tough. Sometimes 5 minutes to a game I am there and I wonder if she coming tonight. I wonder how far she reaching out the corner. I'm just round the corner. 10
Yeah.
minutes after, I'm right there. I'm just coming in.
Yeah.
I've got it.
Okay,
Man.
I
Yeah.
think
Yeah,
some people in the chat saying they're guilty of not getting there 30 minutes. Somebody, CJ is saying he's guilty or she's guilty.
Oh, goodness.
I am always on time. Miss Jackie knows that. I am a stickler for time.
Yes,
Even
yes,
sometime
ma'am.
before her.
Yes,
What?
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Very
Miss
good.
Gordon.
Very good.
Yes, Miss Gordon.
I love this time in business. let's talk here for a minute or two. Let's deal with this.
I will get that from that individual because she's also a coach, so she will know about being on time. Yeah, she coaches
Okay,
netball and she's in charge of people, so she knows about being on time.
Okay, very good. Thank you for the interaction. We'll now turn it over to Rochelle, who's going to talk about the meetings, pre-game duties, and duties during the game. Rochelle?
Hi, everyone. Good evening.
Good evening.
Christine,
Yay.
can you pull that screen up, please?
Oh, okay. Give me a minute. All right. Okay. Give me 1 minute. You can tell them about yourself whilst I look for it, Shelly.
I knew he was going to say that.
I want to see your eyes.
Good evening, folks. Okay. I've been working as a table official 30 plus years.
Oh,
How
much? 30
from 1989, to now. Like Jackie has said, you have to be doing it for the love of it. It really is fun when every piece comes together. And everybody play their role. It's really a lot of fun. It's interesting how a lot of things have changed over the years.
Yes, it
Rules
has.
have changed, duties have changed. It's a lot of changes have been. That's why I said earlier, it's good to keep abreast. You got to keep up with these things. So I've been doing it for a lot of years, and it's been fun. Like Jackie, I've been a part of the training persons and having persons become better at it, and it's been working for the best part so much. So we'll go from there to the screen. If you can see it, the table officials meeting. Now, like I said earlier, it's important for everyone to play their role. And so and you may think of something that you may want to say or suggest at that table, at the officials meeting, it's the time when you bring things forward, making sure everything is in place. Kania,
Yay.
you got it up now?
Yeah, it should be. You see it? You don't see it?
My screen black.
What?
Uh-huh.
Okay. All right, I'm sharing. Anybody else see the screen?
No, it's black.
Okay, let's try this again then.
Okay, so it's not only me.
Okay.
No part of it. Okay.
got a
Okay,
part
coming
of it.
better.
Get a part. A little dark in the left side.
Yeah.
Right?
No.
You don't have the whole screen, you have a part of the screen. At least most of it.
What about now?
Negative,
Oh, still. Oh,
dark.
all.
All right.
Try again.
I'm going to try it again.
Smell.
What's that?
Ah, there we go.
Good?
Great.
Yeah. Now I lost my whole screen.
Shelly, what you made you lost? Look to the
What did I do? Hold on. Okay.
Good? Everyone can see it now?
I can.
Okay. All right.
Please.
It is important for the table officials team to have a talk and prepare properly for a game in a pre-game meeting. Now, in order for that to happen, that means you got to be at the game in time for able to have this meeting. All right. So this is why that time of getting to the gym is very, very important, because if you're not there and they have a table officials meeting or talk, that means you're missing something, and there's something, a lot of things that are discussed would be very important to you as well. This will form a strong team. It should take place in your designated room, normally on the international level, and away from other people at the arena. In the pre-game meeting, you should discuss at least the following points. They said at least, not all, that's all, but at least these points. Confirm the game time, game start time. Which day? Scroll up. I'm going to read from my book. Recent changes in rules and interpretations, game context level of difficulty, external and internal factors of the game, situation in the league, regular season, finals, playoffs, etc. This means officiating all games with equal seriousness, regardless of their status. You can't play with anybody's game then, no matter at what level. Everybody is serious about winning a game. So if you downplay a game, you could cause somebody to lose the game. All right. Coordination of the procedures follow in different critical situations: baskets, scored, timeouts, substitutions, end of the quarter or game, change in team in control of the ball, team fouls, alternating possession procedure, etc. Special considerations about this arena: location of the game or shot clocks, what to do in special conditions or malfunctions, team benches, when to do a full check of all devices, eye contact, communication methods with the referees and the other table officials, including communication in unexpected situations, how to solve any problems that might arise, special conditions for the game such as TV timeouts, minute of silence, presentations, tributes, etc. Halftime procedure: will the table officials leave the table and return to their changing room or not? All of those are things that you can discuss in your table officials meeting. But like you said, it's not limited to them. If you think of something else that you think is important to discuss, it could be discussed there. And then now, the pregame duties. Now, this pregame duties is a list of duties that's general to everybody. Now, I think tomorrow we start off with specific duties of each person or each table official. But this right now is just a general one. Identify the technical delegate or commissioner or court manager of the game, if any. Notify the commissioner, if present, or the crew chief of any potential issues with the team list or any other documentation needed to play the game. Prepare the score sheet according to the rules. In the case of a FIBA digital score sheet, yes, the prepared score sheet should be printed out at least 20 minutes before the scheduled tip-off for the game. Table officials must be at the table before the referees enter the court. Let me read that one again. The table officials must be at the table before the referees enter the court. When the referees come to the court area now, they stand up in that area or they come over to walk to the table to meet and greet everyone, shake your hands, table officials must have already been in place, not just running to get in place now. Then check the table equipment and electronic devices. Request the team list. Prepare the score sheet according to the rules. Keep the game ball safe and secure. Measure the 20 minutes interval of play. Assist in checking how many people are seated in the team bench areas. Measure the 20 minutes interval of play before the start of the game with the referees present on the court. In the event of team presentations, the timer will inform the referees when 7, 8, or 9 minutes. The local organizing committee, LOC, will generally decide this. Remain prior to the start of the game, depending on whether national anthems must be played. In any case, the timer will stop the clock when 3 minutes remain until the start of the game if the presentation is not finished. In the event of a minute of silence being observed, this is done just before the start of the game with the starting players on the court. Assist checking how many people are seated. Oh, sorry, guys. I was reading over something else again. The shot clock operator will run the shot clock down when the referees are present on the court so that they can hear the sound of the device when the shot clock period expires. This is to make sure that they understand or hear the difference between the shot clock, and the game clock, because there is a difference. Request from the coach of each team confirmation of the names and corresponding numbers of their team members, the names of the coach and assistant coach, and the starting 5 players, and get him to sign the score sheet. This should be done at least 10 minutes before the beginning of the game. Team A coach first, that's the home team, then Team B. The scorer will share this information with the statisticians and court announcer if present. A number of persons need this information. The timer will sound the signal 3 minutes before the start of the game. The referee will indicate 3 minutes by showing 3 fingers in the usual manner. The timer will sound again 1:30 minutes before the start of the game, and then will blow the whistle when 1:30 remain to indicate to the teams that they are to go to their own team bench areas. Maintain, oh, sorry. That is all the duties of that's pregame. And now we're going to go into duties during the game. Maintain high levels of concentration practically towards the end of quarters and in the final 2 minutes of the game. Collaborate with your table co-officials and referees. Speak professionally with members of both playing teams. I think we spoke on that before. You can't have a bias for any side. So make sure you, however you speak to one side, and should be professionally, you speak to the other side. Table officials should watch the flow of the game carefully, anticipating possible requests for substitutions and timeouts, paying special attention to timeout requests after scored baskets. That's critical. Remember that the table officials must be discreet in the use of acoustic signals. In exceptional cases, the whistle can be used in certain situations to attract the attention of the referees. Do not ever put the referees in a no-win situation. You must know exactly what happened before you call the referee to the table. Report any actions by bench personnel. It is strictly forbidden to make any signals that can compromise the decisions of the referees. Give information and support to any member of the officiating team who requested, but in a discreet way. Clarify the procedure if a request by the referees is made following an unclear situation. End of quarter, goal made, etc. Never use a gesture or speak loudly. Only give information if the referee requests it, and assign only one speaker from the table officials crew. It can't be everybody saying something to an official or referee at one time. Should a fight break out on court and or the team bench personnel leave the bench area, the table official must remain focused. Let me say this again. Should a fight break out on the court and or the team bench personnel get up off the bench and go on the court, the table officials must remain focused. The assistant scorer must observe the visiting team bench. The shot clock operator must observe the local team bench. That's the home team. The scorer and the timer must observe the playing court. This is the areas where they're watching. Because anytime something happens, you're gonna have to be, that's why you have to have your paper too. You're gonna be writing information on your piece of paper in the area that you're watching. They are to note the events unfolding on court and in the team bench areas, recording any actions of players, coaches, and team followers in order to assist the referees and commissioner. Inform the referees about any malfunction of the devices whenever the rules provide the opportunity. Record separately the minutes and the participants in fouls. Apply the rules correctly. Know your role. Am I supposed to be doing that too? No. Ms. Cunningham? All right. Any questions? One of the things I also wanted to mention, that part, I mean, everything that was said is important, especially that part talking about fighting. You really have to be focused because things has happened and it's happened so quickly. Somebody have to be watching and they tell you which area points. Or there are 4 points on the table. Every one of them have somewhere they should be watching when something breaks out or fight or anything breaks out. All right. Any questions or concerns? Any comments?
Good evening, Leona from Guyana. I just want to thank you for that. Is there any way, Ms. Cunningham, that I will be able to get that presentation? I think it's very important for us here in Guyana. Because sometimes we have difficulties as table officials. Sometimes we go to coaches half an hour, 20 minutes before the game. Coach may have a list. 10 minutes before the game, you still have to be running behind them to get a list. So I'm glad that we were able to have that presentation. And like I'm asking Mr. Brung or Ms. Cunningham, if I may please,
allow me to speak to that.
Thank you.
Allow me to speak to that. Once again, any number of persons may have their mics on. So if you can just mute your mics, certainly would be grateful. The information that you're receiving today is all in the table official manual. The updated version, 2019 version, we're gonna punch that out to you tomorrow. You'll get that. And all of the information that we're discussing this evening is really in your manual. We're just trying to condense it a little bit. All right. However, all of this information is shared on the Consecaba knowledge sharing platform. I understand that the platform, we have some challenge with accessing the table officiating portion of it. I'm working with Mr. Haynes, Mr. Patrick Haynes, so we could get that up and running. So you can go to the knowledge sharing platform and get all of the information from day one, whether it's referee, table officiating, whatever, everything is on that platform. for you, and it's there particularly for you to study for the tests. And so I'm going to get the rules for you, the latest version. We're going to ask Ms. Cunningham to push that out to you, or I will push it out so everybody can have a copy. I'm quite sure the Federation have a copy, but it's good to get it to you in this forum so you can have it personally, right? So there you have it.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Mr. Cunningham, Mr. Brown, I
Yes,
just want
ma'am.
to share. Here is mine, how thick it is. So if you're gonna get
Back and
credit,
front. Yeah.
yes, it's like
both sides.
120 pages.
Yeah, do it both sides.
Yes.
Is that both sides?
Yes.
Allow me to address to the part where the table official have different observation points. They have to observe certain areas during a fight. There's a rule that goes with that. Because at the end of the day, the referees are going to come over to the table and say, listen, what did you see? And so like Ms. Campbell is saying, or was saying, that you need to have some scrap paper there. And you're writing down numbers, who left their team bench, who throw a blow, etc., etc. The purpose of that exercise is really falls under Article 42 of the rules. And I know you guys were supposed to read up on it. That was some, and I don't want to use the word homework, sound like you're still in school. You were supposed to read up on Article 42, where you cancel the, like fouls and stuff like that. Recording the fouls, they help the referees to record the fouls, and it's a whole lot of stuff. So it's important that when stuff happen, you start taking notes, particularly at the local level, because you don't have a commissioner there, and you don't have a technical delegate sitting at your table to help you. So it's important that you do that. Very important to the referee. Anything else you want me to speak to, Ms. Kim? You would like me to elaborate on?
Just another point. I think we mentioned it already about being focused, right? And this is one of the reasons why people always talk about you cannot be on the phone during a game because you're going to be missing things. And you're talking about that fight break now, someone's down, head was down on their phone. They would know who threw the first blow or who jumped off their bench and then crawl back and say they was on the bench all along if they was on the phone. So you really got to be focused. You got to take it seriously.
I think you talk about the last 2 minutes of play and the importance of really staying focused. I mean, you really should be focused throughout the whole game.
The whole game. Mm-hmm.
But you must pay special attention to that last 2 minutes of play. I'm wondering why. Why do you think you need to pay special attention to the last 2 minutes of play? Give me some feedback. Have a discussion on it. Why?
Me or
what are
someone
some of the
else?
things that jump out at us in the game? I mean, this for the wider audience here. Anybody?
Timeouts.
And timeouts, right?
The last 2 minutes is where the game usually gets the most, well, the pace picks up the most.
Yes, excellent. Tempo. Remember we went through tempo? Excellent. And it brings a bit of stress to the table official and the referees on the court. So you're talking about change in tempo. Substitution as well. After substitution, you should expect some kind of tempo change, change of play. If a team is down by X amount of points, and they begin to make a surge, that will change the tempo of the game. And a lot of things actually happen during that time, during those periods in the game. So players are more hot, they're more aggressive, they're pushing, jockeying for position. And by reason of this, you have a lot of fouls. You have a lot of trash talking. And then, of course, sometimes it turns out to be fights. And that is exactly what we do not want in our games, right? Fights. So, good. Tempo. Change of tempo. Good. Anything else?
There was one thing she mentioned concerning the beginning of the game with the officials letting you know how much time before the game starts, the 1 minute and 30 seconds.
Yes, ma'am.
We need to get some clarity on that because everybody read yes, but they understand it different.
Oh.
Mhm.
Sherry, you want to go over that?
I think I got it. I think basically what they're saying, your clock is running down from 20 minutes. All right. When it gets to 5, the timer, buzz the horn. 3, buzz the horn. The referee's now saying, putting up his finger, 3 minutes. When it gets to 1:30, that's what they're talking about. That's the timer's going to be buzzing the horn. And the referee does his thing. Okay, guys, time to get off the court. Get to your bench areas now. Get ready to play. That's all it is.
Okay. Yeah. Remember the interval of play.
I understand that part, but it's the minutes.
Okay.
We know the 3 minutes, and after the 3 minutes, what is the next count to clear the court?
1:30.
A minute and a half, right? Okay.
Okay. Allow me to just weigh in on that. Allow me to weigh in on that as a referee. All right. The first interval of play is how many minutes?
20 minutes.
20 minutes. And the referee should be in position 20 minutes before the jump ball. So that's your first interval of play. So 20 minutes to start the game, you should see your referee standing there. They should come and shake your hands, etc., and then stand opposite of the table, watching the warm-up. And then 10 minutes, what happened at 10 minutes? 10 minutes.
Coaches come.
Coaches come
and drop the list.
Names.
Bingo. And they take off their status. Now listen, folks. They don't come there. Basically, they don't come there to take off their list at 10 minutes. Really.
No.
You would have done that.
You have to go and look for them.
Yeah, they should be taking off their status. Yeah, you should be taking off their status
at 10 minutes.
At 10 minutes. All right? And of course, you all have a way of doing that. I think you all just put a little X there and all that kind of stuff. And then the next one is 6 minutes. If you have any ceremony in the game, now these times can change from time to time, eh? You have a ceremony, you want to start at 6. All right. FIBA's big is a stickler for time, especially at the international competition, because you have the TV program. You know, you got a broadcast, everything, TV, radio, and everything is done on time because you have different time zones around the world, and persons are expecting to watch the game at a particular time. I remember doing a qualifier in Canada, and we had a challenge where, you know, you had 2 games. The first game ended, and then we had some challenge with getting the people out of the gym and off the court and all this kind of stuff. And I remember we start a game. This was my first qualifier. 6 minutes. 6 minutes late. And literally before the jump ball, I had about 4 calls. And I'm telling you, from not only from FIBA Americas, from beyond, what is going on? And so timings are very important. 6 minutes ceremony, and then 3 minutes, that's that preliminary warning that, hey, get your last layup or whatever. Get warm up, stretch up. 3 minutes, you got 3 minutes. And then 1:30, 1 minute, 30 seconds, the referee's gonna step out on the court. Well, the referee step out and indicate the 3 minutes, beep, 3 minutes. And then 1:30, referee steps out again. Okay, you guys are gonna blow your horn on that, right?
Yes, at 1:30.
1:30, and then he said, listen here, have a seat, get ready to play. All right? And the team, if the game is 7 o'clock, the team should be in place to jump that ball at exactly 1900 hours, 7 p.m. All right, so that's your basic stuff there. 20, 10, 6, 3,
1:30.
and 130 seconds or 90 seconds.
Okay,
Good to go?
Fred Brown, we have a question. You know, Shelley had mentioned about putting your referees in a no-win situation.
Wow.
They were asking, what example can you give that'll show where you're compromising or putting your referee in a no-win situation?
Let me give you one example.
Okay, go on.
A referee call a foul on 3, and you then, I like this referee. That ain't on 3. That's another number, and you saying that so loud. That's putting the referee in a compromising position right there. That's one of the examples. Go ahead, Mr. Brown.
Okay, man, a good one is the fight situation. I guess discuss that one. You're looking for help now as a referee. All right, you have a major brawl in the gym, big time skirmish. And now, after the dust is settled, you go over to the table and say, listen here, I need your help. Who did what? All right? And then everybody
Look
around, they look, I mean, not everybody, the whole table then look at each other and say, I don't know what you're talking about. I haven't seen anything. I literally been in a competition like that, where we had a pre-qualifying, Olympic pre-qualifying game. And we had a challenge with a couple of seconds on the clock, et cetera, et cetera. And then we went over to the table and we kind of say, listen here, what did you see? All right. Back in the day, we didn't have all these red light, this thing that goes off at the last second of the game or whatever. So everybody just shrugged their shoulder, fold their arms, and shrug. Look. And it was like, what's going? And then you didn't have a instant replay system.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So pandemonium almost break out in the gym because now, how do you determine who gets the ball or whether somebody get a shot? Because it was a big game. It was a pre-Olympic qualifying game. Okay, so when you go to the table officials and they fold their arms. Okay. Sometimes this can happen with what? The home team, because remember, table officials are the responsibility of the National Federation, particularly at international competition. Or your team, you may be a table official, and the team that you pull for, or the team from your district, playing that game, and it may come down where, you have to tell the truth. But in some cases, you're not prepared to tell the truth. So what do you say? I didn't see nothing. I was looking the next way. I was tying my shoelace in. My pen dropped when that happened. So all these little excuses come to bear sometime in the game. You just have to, it goes right back again to being a professional, right?
Mr. Brown, someone mentioned, not starting the clock on time.
Starting the clock on time.
Okay, good. Now let them discuss that.
The clock, 24-second clock.
Lovely.
Someone suggested that.
So let them discuss it. Please come on and discuss that. Whoever wrote it. Come on, guys.
I don't know, it's 15309.
Go ahead and say something on it.
15309.
That's a big one.
Mm-hmm.
So please say something 15309. You'll get some assistance, not to worry. Okay, table officials, y'all discuss it. Instructors. You have a lot of experience with that and how we feel as referee. Yeah.
If didn't get started on time, would the timer admit that the clock didn't start on time, or would someone else on the table realize it and say, oh, the clock didn't start on time? Would y'all bring that to the referee's attention?
Number one, you do not have an IRS system.
Mhm.
And the clock not starting on time, believe it or not, it's the duty of the referee to make sure that it starts on time. All right? When you chop that play in, that's something you want to spot right away. All right? Once the ball becomes live, ball is passed onto the court, a player touches that ball and is chopped in, some things happen right away. You're looking, time, partner, table, players, and all of this happens within a second. So they can pick that up immediately. All right? Clock not starting on time. So this is game awareness by the officials. While it is the fault of the table, but it is the responsibility of the referee to ensure that it happens. And they should realize that right away. They should be on it right away. Okay? If they're watching the game, they have good game awareness. What they call it, the active mindset, the referee active mindset in refereeing. Does that answer your question? Anybody else wish to weigh in on it from a table perspective? We've seen this happen all the time, and it creates, it causes pandemonium from time to time. I can tell you that. Sometimes the referees can't go home. They need to be escorted out of the gym.
I think
So-
one other thing, Freddie, is when we try to argue with the referee after he made his call.
Oh,
I think
that's
that
another
happens.
question.
We decide that we don't agree, and we have a big discussion about how we missed that call down the road. And even
I mean, to what extent?
even in public, like on the table after the game, maybe the referee made a call that we thought was off the wall or not correct. So game is over.
Or you mean the table
do it.
officials?
Yes, table officials. So
Rather
the
than
game
they
is
move
over.
from
So
one
we're
to
telling
the
this referee now that there's no way how he
other. Not fair no abu color boy super phone this one.
and we're still there. And you're arguing the call with the referee in front of everybody.
Oh, table officials doing that. Wow. I mean, that's unusual. I know what you speak, Ms. Cunningham, and I think you can speak to that a little bit better than myself and some of the other table officials on this site tonight can speak to that. Don't be shy. Have a conversation.
There are also instances where the official thing, they see who committed a foul before the referee even come to the table to signal who the foul committed it.
All
So by
right.
the time the referees reach to the table official's head already down, right in,
Wow.
before the
right.
referee even give them the signal.
Wow, you're
That's a
quite
common
right.
one. That's a common one.
Yeah, that's a common one.
Yes,
They referee from the table right
I
through.
think most of
writing
you are
and the
guilty.
referee is still reporting. Yes,
I think most of you are guilty of that.
yes, we are.
Huh? Yeah, I think most of you are guilty of that one. All right.
Okay, I have a question here in the chat
Go
from
on.
CJ. It says, what happens if backcourt 8-second count of the referee differs from the shot clock? I think what they're saying is the referee, the clock, maybe the shot clock on 22, but the referee already got to 8. What happens?
Okay, that'll be a difficult one if you're not using the instant replay review, and unless you're paying close attention to the game, when you start the game, say on a throw-in or on a rebound situation, these are the things you automatically spot the clock and the shot clock. That is basketball refereeing 101. Bingo. You know, rebound situation or throw-in situation, bang, you spot the clock. The minute you chop in that play, game clock, shot clock. All right, you're dealing with a problem because there was a lack of game awareness on behalf of the official. All right, and you do not have an IRS, so it happened. Let's say it happened. All right, a referee certainly can stop the game and fix the time and come to the table and say, listen here, what was the deal? And make a determination how to fix it. All right, but remember, if a foul was committed during that time, it still remain, okay? Nothing will change. So you certainly can make some correction in terms of time, because in the IRS, you could correct areas of timing anytime during the game, really. But you don't want to correct something that took place 20, 30 minutes ago at the end of the game. You want to do that before the quarter ends. See? So how do you fix that? Okay, I think some of the problem is too, with calling games, you do not have all of the apparatuses to run the game, particularly at the local level. Sometimes you don't have a shot clock. Sometimes the game clock is in a position where you can't even see it. The referee can't even see the clock. Any number of things could be, you know, going on in the game that will cause that to happen. But I could tell you, from a high level perspective, competition perspective, you know, that shouldn't happen, because everything is in place for the referee to see the game. And so it is the referee's responsibility to ensure that things like this do not happen. And that falls under game awareness, game management. Good. Next. Question? Time we got here. Oh, we haven't gone to rules yet. And it's already 8:25. But I'm gonna take my 15
Fred
minutes.
Brown, rules tonight.
Is Brother Ian on?
I didn't see him.
I think he has rules. Ian, are you there?
He's not on.
Okay,
It's 13 and 15.
okay, 13 to 15. You want to throw it on for me?
Sure.
Okay, I'll do the rules. Let me see if I can. Okay, once again.
Freddie Brown.
Table officiating.
Freddie Brown.
Yes, ma'am.
I don't know if anybody else experienced it, but PPL just hacked me out a while ago. So I don't know if it's moving. I don't know if it's moving. Be prepared.
It's moving. I have it.
No, I mean the PPL, the power company. It's been shutting off. I just was blocked just now. I surprised it came right back after but 5 minutes.
Well, I'm using my iPhone, so
all right.
I'm sucking up a lot of data.
All right.
Just in
Can you
case
see the screen? Can you see the screen, Fred Brown?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, it's
okay.
on.
All yours.
Yeah. Okay. It says that during the game the ball is played with the hand or hands only and may. Oh, I have this little thing in my way here. Okay, right there. And maybe pass, throw, tap, roll, or dribble in any direction subject to the restrictions of these rules. The player shall not run with the ball, deliberately kick it. I think we covered that, eh?
Yes, we did.
We covered that one. Let's go to, and we covered Article 14.
Yes, you did. You covered most all of these, but I just wanted
Let's go to 15. Let's go to 15.
Okay. 15 it'll be.
Yes, please.
I'll take you straight to 15.
Okay, 15. You put it on 15?
Right there.
All right, folks, Don't be afraid to ask any question about the rules.
Uh,
If I don't have it this evening, I certainly would look forward to researching it and bringing the correct answer to you. And we're dealing with Article 15, player in the arc of shooting. A big item for referees. It's a big item for table officials as well, because there are times when it becomes controversial and the referee may ask for the table opinion on certain things, and you should be prepared to give your opinion, all right, of what happened. Definition, a shot for field goal, and I'm not going to go through all this, is when you shoot the shot for a field goal, all right, and then the same goes for a free throw. And there are ways of shooting the shot. It's basically three ways. It's the actual jump shot, it's by throwing the ball into the air towards the basket on a shot for goal. And then there's the tap. The tap is also considered a shot for a field goal. And then the dunk is considered a shot for a field goal. A tap and dunk are considered as shots for field goal as well. The arc of shooting begins. There's a new rule now on the arc of shooting, but we're going to stay with this up to October. All right. It begins when the player starts a continuous movement, normally preceding the release of the ball. All right. So there's some movement that is going on that precedes the release of the ball. This is called the arc of shooting. But let me remind you, all right, according to Article 14, team control ends on the release of the ball on a shot for field goal. Team control ends. However, the arc of shooting does not end. The arc of shooting ends, all right, after a player releases a ball on a shot for field goal, provided that that player is airborne, all right. The arc of shooting ends when that player returns to the floor with both feet. All right, so sometimes the player returns to the floor with one foot. All right, so that player at that moment is still in the arc of shooting. So they release the ball on the shot for field goal, and they're still in the air and they're fouled. Of course, if the ball goes in, you got an on-one situation. Ball is released, and the player in the arc of shooting lands on 1 foot and is fouled by team B. The player is still in the arc of shooting because both feet did not touch the ground. And Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan, these guys were just famous for that. Okay, so the arc of shooting begins when the player starts a continuous movement, normally preceding the release of the ball, and in the judgment of the official, he has started an attempt to score by throwing, tapping, or dunking. There goes those three items again. Dunking the ball towards the opponent's basket. It ends, all right? The arc of shooting ends when the ball is left the player's hand or hands, and in the case of an airborne shooter, I covered that already. During his arc of shooting, the player might have his arms held, all right? That is prior to the release of the ball. May have his arc. During the arc of shooting, the player might have his arms held by an opponent, thus preventing him from scoring. In this case, it is not essential that the ball leave the player's hand. So there you have it. There's that window of movement that precedes the release of the ball. And once that player is fouled in that window of movement, then they were fouled in the arc of shooting. So it doesn't mean that they have to release the ball. Okay. When a player is in the arc of shooting and after being fouled, he passes off the ball, he is no longer considered to have been in the arc of shooting. Many years ago, this was different. This rule was changed about 10 years ago. It was different. All right. Let's go to the continuous movement. Oh, sorry. I think I'm ahead of myself.
Yep. Yes,
I'm ahead of myself. Something about, actually, I'm looking at my big screen, but I better take a look at yours. There is no relationship between the number of legal steps and the act of shooting. So the new rule with legal steps is the 0 step, then the pivot step, and then another step. Those are your legal steps, basically. All right? And in between there, those legal steps, you get fouled, even though you still have the ball in your hand, you got, providing that you're making a move to the basket, then you would have been fouled in the act of shooting. And then you could continue your act of shooting, the continuous movement, and shoot the ball. In that case, if the shot goes in, the basket will count because you got fouled in the act of shooting. And that is the continuous movement that I just explained. Continuous movement, all right? There is no relationship between the legal step taken on the act of shooting. Just go up. During the act of shooting, the player might have his arms. Okay, I went through that. Just go up a bit.
that's it. The next one is 16.
Yeah. Okay. Stop right there. When a player is in the act of shooting, and after being fouled, he passes the ball off. We went through that already. It's considered to be, he's no longer in the act of shooting. Goal, when made, and its value. Okay, I think, I don't think we have a challenge with this. All right. You shoot from the two-point areas, 2 points. Free throws are always 1 point. Shoot from the 3-point area, and that's 3 points. So, you know, if a player accidentally scores a field goal in his yes.
Before you go on, you're venturing into tomorrow.
That's fine.
Just letting you know. Okay.
Yeah, because I only cover a couple rules. Oh, we have some other persons. We have some other persons who will be dealing with that, eh?
Yes.
All right, let's stop right there. So we have some other person who will be dealing with those rules. So
Yeah.
I'll stop right there. Anybody have any question with the act of shooting? Let me just go over the item of, because this normally comes on the test. Normally with the act of shooting, and then we would go. That area where it says there is no relationship between the number of legal steps taken and the act of shooting. And let me give you an example here. All right. Player gathers the ball in the act of shooting. Stop dribbling, gathers the ball. At that moment, player is now making a move to the basket, maybe 1 step or 2 steps. All right. Gets fouled. All right. And take maybe 4 or 5 steps after that. Good. And then lay the ball up and the shot goes in. The act of shooting ends where the legal steps ended. All right. So if you had 3 legal steps, that is that the act of shooting would end right there. So if you take a 4th step, you could no longer be in the act of shooting to score the goal. And what I mean by that is this: if I get fouled between gathering the ball and then going into the continuous motion of maybe 1-2 step, and I am fouled, all right, and then I take a further 2 steps out of the legal step, all right, and then I shoot the ball, the basket will not count because I took illegal steps. You got me? However, because I was fouled in the act of shooting, I will still then give you the free throws.
Right.
You see what I mean? So that's what they're really saying right there. And it's very tricky there. Some trick questions normally come on the test with regard to questions like that. Good. So if they make 4 or 5 steps, then it's illegal. There's no way we could score the basket. You place the other team at a disadvantage, or you try to gain an advantage by taking extra steps. Okay, so there we go. Any question? 1 or 2 questions, and then we shall move on. We're looking good in terms of time. We got about 5 minutes of questions. Arc of shooting. I know for referees, this is a big one for referees. I can tell you that. All right. Anybody wish to give their take on the arc of shooting? Remember some things, again, while you're gathering your thoughts. All right. Team control and the arc of shooting, 2 different items. They're different. Team control end when a player releases the ball in a shot for field goal. All right, so team control ends. However, the shot for field goal does not end until the ball strikes the what? Basket, strikes the ring. The continuation does not end, especially when there's an airborne shooter, all right, until that airborne shooter returns to the floor with both feet on the floor. 1, they're still in the arc of shooting. 2, they're no longer in the arc of shooting. So if they get fouled with both feet on the ground, there cannot be an on 1. The ball going, they get the shot, and then they would get the ball for throw-in on the throw-in spot. All right, but if it's 1 foot, then you get the ball, you get an on 1, because you're still considered to be in the arc of shooting. Good to go? Comments? That's it for me. If nobody have questions.
No more questions, concerns? No? All right, Freddie Brown, Miss Moss, Miss Kemp, I think we did an excellent job because no one has any questions or concerns.
Wow.
So I think we did a great job. Thank you very much. We look forward to seeing everybody again tomorrow at 7 o'clock. The platform will be open from 6:30 for you to sign in.
Okay, let me just go over those items again I went over.
Yes.
At the beginning.
Yes.
All right. 1, we want to start on time tomorrow. Let's be professional. Let us start on time. Barring that, all goes well. That's 1. 2, remember that we're service providers, so it is important that we do start on time. The next item is I need to remind you that the FIBA Table Official Certification course begins in September of this year. And if you have any interest, you would link up with your federation bosses and ask them about it, because they should be sending in information regarding that very soon. So go ahead, check with your federation bosses and let them know that you have interest in doing the certification course, which starts September, just a few months ago. And it's good to know that we're doing this course now. All right. And I would invite you, remember too, that generally it's a rules certification course. All right. You do the same thing basically that referee does. So remember that, pay attention to your rules. Good.
And on that note, everyone should at least have the rules, go over the rules, try to make it your job, your business as a scorer and official to read the rule book at least once. Okay? Tomorrow we'll be covering post-game duties, scorers' equipment, the official score sheet, records before game and the running score, and we'll be going over
Oh,
rules
this is the big one.
16 through 23. Okay, and on the 2nd, we'll be having a online test for everything that we covered in this module number 1. So we have one more day tomorrow, and then the online test will be on the 2nd. So we look forward to seeing all of you tomorrow. Thank you once again, and enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank you very much, Ms. Cunningham. Appreciate it.
Good night.
Thank
Good
you.
night.
Good night.
Good night,
Night,
guys.
everyone.
Good
Good
night.
night, everyone. Good night. And thanks.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Good night. Good stuff, guys.
You hear
Good
that?
night, guys. Good job. Good night, Keisha. Good night, Charlene. Oh, PVI, Charlene. Good to hear from you, Charlene.
Good night.
Good night, Jackie.
Good night. Good night.
Yeah,
Good
yeah,
night.
bro. I lost the number. I needed to get in contact with me ASAP.
Good night. Good night.
Teacher in the morning.
Good night, Carl.
Good night, Carlina. Good night, Freddie.
Good night, Jillian. Good night, guys.
Good night.
Yeah, good night, Jillian.
Good night from Neefis.
All right, good night, guys.